Welcome viewers to the Saturday, January 13th, 2024 edition of 284 News. I'm Jaka Winning, bringing you our top stories from this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Outgoing Governor John Rankin stated his intention to ask the United Kingdom for expanded powers and an extended deadline for implementing reforms in the BVI. Rankin expressed doubt that the current government can meet the May 2024 target despite two prior deadline adjustments at their request.
In April 2023, I published a letter from the then UK Minister for the Overseas Territories. Lord Goldsmith said that if the necessary reforms have taken root no later than May 2024, this should allow the Order in Council to be lifted. I do not now foresee that reforms will have taken root at that point, and it is clear that more time will be required. I have accordingly suggested in my quarterly review that an extension to the end of November 2024 would be appropriate.
The governor lamented his calls for concerted effort and prioritization from ministers went unheeded.
The Commission of Inquiry made 49 recommendations to help resolve these issues and place the BVI on a better path to good governance. And in June 2022, the Government of National Unity accepted 48 of those 49 recommendations and committed themselves to delivering them. Politicians from across political parties agreed that delivering these reforms was vital. I'm disappointed, however, to report that in recent months, progress in these commitments has significantly stalled. My previous quarterly review was relatively positive, but it called for concerted effort and prioritisation from ministers to make further progress. This hasn't happened. Last September, 24 of the 48 recommendations have been delivered by the government's own count. As of today, only one more recommendation has been delivered, namely the receipt of the Constitutional Review Commission report, which was, of course, not carried out by government, but by an independent review body.
Rankin stressed that more than just extra time is needed for full reform implementation in the BVI.
But while I believe an extension is necessary, additional time alone will not be enough. The initial deadlines were agreed by the BVI government. Some, not all, of the deadlines were tight, and the government asked for extensions on two occasions, last January and again in September. Those requested extensions were accepted by the UK, but even these extended deadlines are still being consistently missed. So, in addition to a new deadline to the end of November, there is clearly a need for some further steps to drive forward implementation of the COI recommendations. I am not recommending triggering of the Order in Council in order to establish an interim administration led by the Governor. But I have come to the conclusion that additional powers for the Governor are required to help ensure that the BVI government delivers its commitments. I'll be writing to the UK Minister today with a recommendation to that effect.
Rankin assured residents that his requested additional powers will be specific to the implementation of the Commission of Inquiry recommendations and a temporary enactment if approved. Governor Rankin provided further clarity on the details of his request sent to the United Kingdom government.
First, an additional power for the Governor to himself introduce legislation to the House of Assembly in circumstances where the government itself is unable or unwilling to put forward legislation to the House. So that legislation could come to the House of Assembly for everybody to see and for still to be subject to the democratic debate and scrutiny in the House of Assembly. But that would give the governor power to go over the logjam and get the legislation straight into the House of Assembly.
Rankin also spoke about having more power in the public service.
A second area could be where there's clearly, delay taking place within a department. Contrary to what some people sometimes like to say, the governor doesn't have total charge of the public service. The governor is in charge of the terms and conditions of the public service, but the power of direction and control rests with ministers. So you could envisage in a situation where there's a particular failure to implement that the governor could be given powers to intervene and help more directly in the work of a department.
Another critical area mentioned by Governor Rankin was increased power in the procurement process of issuing government contracts.
At the moment, as governor, I can see in advance contracts proposed for over $100,000, but the decisions on them are made by cabinet, in which the governor doesn't have a vote. I can, if necessary, ask the Auditor General to look at such contracts. But I wonder, for example, again in line with better scrutiny, whether there might be a power or right of the governor to refer those contracts to the Public Accounts Committee in the House of Assembly, so the Public Accounts Committee could be made aware of the contracts and debate and consider them. So there's a sort of additional powers which I think might be of assistance.
The governor said that issuing a governor of an overseas territory such constitutional powers is not new, as he referenced an example in the Cayman Islands.
In Cayman, the governor has the power to legislate himself in areas, to introduce legislation in areas which fall into the governor's responsibility, not a power which I have in the BVI. So precedents like that could be looked at to see where additional powers might be appropriate. So those are the sort of areas which I believe should be considered and which I believe could help to move forward the COI recommendations to implementation.
Meanwhile, Premier Dr. the Honourable Natalia Wheatley says that the House of Assembly's members are unanimously disappointed by outgoing Governor John Rankin's intent to seek additional authority from the United Kingdom.
My administration has worked in the spirit of partnership with him as we have delivered reforms, while at the same time executing all of our other responsibilities. This is why all of my honourable colleagues and I, on both sides of the aisle, are highly disappointed with the governor's request for additional powers in his most recent update on governance reforms. It appears he wished to act in areas of constitutional responsibility devolved to the elected arm of government. The governor should not be seeking additional powers to bypass democracy and the people of the Virgin Islands, so that he can implement measures as he sees fit without any democratic accountability. It would be a clear colonial act.
In response, Wheatley said he will write to Overseas Territories Minister David Rutley and urge him not to grant Rankin's request.
I will be writing to Minister Rutley to urge him to not support the governor's request to grant the governor additional powers, but rather to continue his approach of constructive engagement between the UK and Virgin Islands as partners and support the elected arm of government in implementing governance reforms. I will ask him to stay true to democracy.
The Premier slammed the governor's intentions as an undemocratic move to bypass BVI leaders chosen in the 2023 election. Wheatley called Rankin's constitutional power grab an insult to Virgin Islanders and made it clear that the government will vigorously oppose it.
We must remember, an election was held in the Virgin Islands in April 2024, in April 2023. Each and every district and territorial representative in the House of Assembly was elected by the people of these islands so their voices could be heard. A government was formed to govern the society, and make decisions in consultation with the people. That is democracy, for better or worse. It would be an insult to the voters and people of the Virgin Islands for additional powers to be granted to the governor to empower him to push his agenda in devolved areas of responsibility. Subjects such as immigration and crown lands fall under the elected arm of government, and there is no justification for powers being transferred or given to the governor to undermine the democratic will and democratic rights of the people of the Virgin Islands. Decision-making should be underpinned by democratic governance. We must stay true to this principle, not just in the UK, but also right here in the Virgin Islands.
The Premier reflected on progress in modernizing the UK Overseas Territories relationship and said granting Rankin more powers would severely damage the BVI-UK ties and set back democracy in the islands.
For the past 20 months, my administration has engaged constructively with the United Kingdom in a genuine effort to improve relations. We substantially contributed to the development of the political declaration recently agreed between the UK and overseas territories in what was thought to be a genuine effort to re-establish a modern partnership and end the drift backwards toward a colonial relationship. Last September, my administration hosted the UK OT Illicit Finance Dialogue meeting of senior officials here on Tortola. It was a great meeting, and we made good progress between UK and OT colleagues on critical issues. The UK facilitated a Virgin Islands delegation's participation at COP28, and we held positive talks on UK climate support to the OTs. In addition, early last year, Lord Goldsmith visited these islands in what was the beginning of a positive rapprochement between the Virgin Islands and UK. The current OT Minister, Honourable David Rutley, continued in this vein, and I have commended him for positively changing the tone of the relationship. Granting the governor additional powers would go directly against the political declaration we and other OTs have just agreed with the UK, and would do considerable damage to our relationship.
And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Catch all the action from the 2023 NFL games with CCT Live on various channels, including ESPN Channel 412, ESPN2 Channel 413, Telemundo Channel 315, and Fox Channel 304. When you subscribe to any CCT Fire plan, you'll automatically bundle CCT Live. For more information, visit your nearest CCT store or give us a call at 444-4444. Choose CCT Live and enhance your game day experience.
Onstop Auto, located in the R&R Malone Complex, Parkwood Pond, is having a huge liquidation sale on all inventory, excluding vehicles and genuine Toyota and Lexus parts. Get no less than 50% off all items on shelves and inventory room. Items such as car covers, steering wheel covers, wipers, sealants, chemicals, emergency cones, adhesives, license plates, frames, air filters, oil filters, front brakes, rear brakes, front rotors, rear rotors, radiators, shocks, and much more. A specific listing of all makes and models for which parts are available at liquidation prices will be posted on our Facebook page.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Listen.
You want to talk about what?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with news that following the opposition's decision not to join the government for a joint press conference on Monday, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley shared that he was saddened with opposition leader Ronnie Skelton and his members' inability to come together at such a crucial time.
As you spoke, I almost got emotional, I have to say to you. Because not only am I perturbed, but it saddens me. You know, I'm genuinely sad about it. Because obviously I'm someone who, I have a great deal of respect for those persons in the past who would have stood up and they fought for our rights. The Theodore Faulkners, the Glanny Fonsecas, the Carlton De Castros, the H.R. Penns, the Noah Lloyds, the Lavity Stouts, the Willard Wheatleys. And it just makes me sad to feel that we've gotten to a place where we can't come together and defend the sacrifices that they made for us. And I just, obviously the opposition will be able to speak and say what they need to say. But I'm still hopeful, Ron, that even though I do feel it would have made a powerful statement for them to be present, I'm still hopeful that we can come together, all 13 members of the House of Assembly, regardless of party affiliation, and that we can send a statement that we are all united in the face of this threat. I don't take it for granted that there are perhaps some persons who would be saying or would be whispering, if you play your cards right, this can help you in some way. Or maybe you can form a government. Those type of thinking or philosophy will be exactly what will get our democracy taken away from us. Because divided, we will be conquered. The strategy of divide and conquer is real. And it has led to many nations around the world being colonized and remaining in a colonial situation. And unity is strength. Unity is strength. And we can have whatever arguments we have with each other as politicians, but we should all stand united as it pertains to defending the country.
At the time, Wheatley also addressed whether he felt a sense of responsibility for the lack of success regarding the COI implementations.
Thank you for that question, Ron. And the reality is, for me, success for me means a better life for the people of the Virgin Islands. And really, that's what I signed up for. Some people will say success or failure has to do with a particular date. I don't look at it that way, Ron. Failure for us would not be able to grasp every opportunity we have to make the life of the people of the Virgin Islands better. And we have to work hard every day to make it happen. And what we didn't get accomplished yesterday, we have to accomplish today. And we do have to have a sense of urgency. And in some instances, where there are things which slow the process, which we do have bureaucratic practices in government that slow the process. And it is a shared responsibility, especially on the top levels. And the governor does not escape that responsibility. As the one who's responsible for public officers, as where human resources falls and the role he plays as it pertains to, as well as myself, the Attorney General and the Ministry of Finance, dealing with the public officers there, all the different components of government. We have to be laser focused how we can make government work better for the people.
The following day, His Majesty's loyal opposition held its own press conference, during which opposition leader, the Honorable Ronnie Skelton, expressed deep concern regarding the governor's request. He emphasized the opposition's deep desire to collaborate closely with the government to thwart the governor's power grab.
We call this press conference because we are extremely concerned about the statement the governor has made in his 5th quarterly report, which is that he will be seeking additional powers. As a result, we reiterate the opposition's solidarity with the government and the people of the Virgin Islands against any additional powers being given to the governor. I think that will be both a retrograde and unnecessary step in the furtherance of governance and democracy. However, I need to make it abundantly clear that while we are in agreement on this core point, there are certain issues, discussions, and agreement between the government of the Virgin Islands and the government of the UK, of which the opposition and the people of the Virgin Islands have not yet been made aware. While we stand firmly with the government on this issue, we felt it necessary to hold our own press conference, which we hope will demonstrate our zero tolerance for any dilution of the devolved powers conferred on the duly elected representative of the people by our Constitution.
And viewers of that, we take a quick break. Stay with us because there is more news when we return.
Rashford made it. Manchester United have come from behind to lead.
At home or on the go, watch CCT Live. Download our app and carry your favorite TV shows, news, or live sports anywhere you go. Visit cctbvi.com/live, select your package, and tune in.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, you enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Onstop Auto, located in the R&R Malone Complex, Packwood Pond, is having a huge liquidation sale on all inventory, excluding vehicles and genuine Toyota and Lexus parts. Get no less than 50% off all items on shelves and inventory room. Items such as car covers, steering wheel covers, wipers, sealants, chemicals, emergency cones, adhesives, license plates frames, air filters, oil filters, front brakes, front rotors, rear rotors, radiators, shocks, and much more. A specific listing of all makes and models for which parts are available at liquidation prices will be posted on our Facebook page.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. During recent Standing Finance Committee deliberations, the BVI Fire Services Chief Fire Officer Zebulon McLean outlined major challenges facing the department, including a lack of personnel, equipment, and support. More in this report. Quoting the SFC report, McLean shared that, quote, one of the issues they faced with filling vacancies was that with reduced budgets, they were unable to get the requisite equipment, clothing, and certain items for firefighters. He noted a full firefighter kit cost between $3,000 and $5,000. He said if you brought a person to train, these are things that were needed to have in place to outfit them before they can even train, much less respond. McLean reported that they currently have 38 staff but require 64, including administrative roles. Statistics shared with the SFC revealed approximately 742 calls were received in 2022. McLean stated these included fires, accidents, medical calls, and rescues, with medical being the highest number annually. The picture painted is of an understaffed, underfunded fire service, lacking key equipment but called upon for expansive emergency response duties, including frontline medical care. Significant resources and support are urgently required per McLean's SFC testimony. Alongside understaffing, McLean highlighted outdated equipment as another pressing concern, especially regarding fire trucks. The SFC heard that 5 mini pumpers acquired in 2019 were supposed to be a stopgap, but no new larger fire trucks have been purchased since then. The document said that their desire would have been to start receiving some new equipment, trucks specifically. With only 2 functional larger trucks still in operation beyond the mini pumpers, acquiring modern vehicles is an urgent need. According to McLean, the fire service's role has grown to include robust public education, medical response, and rescue. This has increased demands on limited staff and equipment. McLean told the SFC that firefighters frequently arrive before ambulances to emergency medical calls, having to provide life-saving care until paramedics arrive. To supplement ambulance services, the goal is to have an ambulance stationed at each fire station. But without increased resources, this expanded medical function further strains the constrained fire service. McLean described a lack of support for the EMT initiative so far. Jacka Whitting, 2it4 News. And that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 2it4media.com. Like us on Facebook at 2it4media and 2it4BVI on Instagram, X, and Threads. I'm Jacka Whitting, and I will see you again next week, so have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.